Well, hello friends, I hope you're having a great day today. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of Take 5. We're in the subject that we've entitled The Faithful Steward, and this week we are talking about stewardship of our time. Now, we've already talked about, managing our finances, our resources, our possessions, our bodies, even our giftings. We've talked about that. This week, we're just going to talk all week long about being a good steward of our time. And I think this is really more important than what most folks think, because time is a commodity that we don't really have a lot of. It is something that is running out, even as we are talking right now. Time for you and for me, it's running out. That's one of the things that they're not making more of is time. You can always get more money. You can always get another house. And things like that, but you cannot get more time. We have one life and that God has given us, and we have to use that life that He has given us to serve Him and fulfill our purpose, and we have a limited time to do that, and so we need to take advantage of every opportunity. As a matter of fact, that's what Paul said in Ephesians 5. He said, look carefully how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time because the days are evil. Did you notice that? He said, make the best use of time, redeeming the time, he says in the King James Version. Life's really, it's actually kind of short. Our time here on earth is limited, really even more than we imagine. And we've got to ask ourselves, are we making the most of this limited time that God has given us for His purpose? Or are we misusing this precious gift, this fleeting time that we have? Are we misusing that? Sunday, if you were here, you remember, in church with us rather, you remember that I gave a little sample average scale about some common everyday occurrences that happen in the average American's home. Now, these numbers and these times don't apply to everybody, but in the average American's home, these numbers apply. I'm going to try to simplify it just so you can get the picture today. In the average American's home, people spend 7 hours a day sleeping, 1.13 hours eating, 3 hours a day watching TV, 2.5 hours a day on social media. They work an average of 8 hours a day. Check this out. On faith and faith-related issues, they spend 9 minutes a day. Now, they do get an hour and a half on Sunday. Most do. But 9 minutes a day they spend on faith and faith-related ideas. And then on personal hygiene, 40 minutes a day. We spend more time getting dressed, fixing our hair and our makeup and all this stuff than we do on faith-based items. Now, that's another message for another day. Now, if you take all those numbers and you crunch them down and you multiply them out and you turn all of that into 24-hour periods in a year's time, because we have 365 days, that's 365 24-hour periods. And if you turn all that into that, what you end up is that we spend 322 days in a year. 322 24-hour periods sleeping and eating, watching TV, social media, work, faith, and personal hygiene. We spend 322 days a year doing that. Now, that leaves 43 days left for vacation, recreation, shopping, housework, yard work, caring for children, school-related activities, sports events, sick days, and anything else that you need to factor in there. It's full. It's a full schedule. And in the midst of all of that, we have got to learn how to steward it appropriately so that we can fulfill the purpose God has for us. I believe this may be one of the greatest areas that we sin in daily, is because we don't realize that we need to be good stewards of our time. Time is this equal opportunity employer. Every human being has exactly the same number of hours and minutes every day. Rich people can't buy more time. Scientists can't invent more time. And there is no such thing as rollover minutes that you didn't use today that you can take up tomorrow. Our responsibility is to use the time that God has allotted us in ways that are most beneficial for His divine purpose for our lives so that we can accomplish God's plan for you and me. And we're going to have to do some stewarding. We're going to have to make the best use. That's what Paul said, make the best use of that time. Let me go back to Ephesians. I want to read it to you from the Amplified Bible. He says, "Awake, O sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. Look carefully." Now listen to this. "Look carefully then how you walk. Live with purpose, live worthily, live accurately, and not as the unwise and witless, but as wise, sensible, and intelligent people." Live with purpose. Did you hear that? Making the very most of the time, buying up each opportunity because the days are evil. The Passion Translation says it this way: take full advantage of every day as you spend your life for the purpose of God. The reason Paul gave that command for Christians to wake up is because there's so many of us that are just letting our lives just pass us by, and we're living them with no purpose at all. And he wants us to wake up and fulfill the purpose and the intention that God has for our life. And we can't procrastinate in doing that. We've got to be a good steward of our time because time's running out. I believe there are far too many people that think their primary purpose as a Christian is to make it to heaven and not go to hell. But the facts are that God has a purpose for us here. And every moment that we don't serve Him and serve His purpose, we are wasting it, and we are not being a good steward of it. So if we're gonna live with purpose, we're gonna have to understand how valuable time is, because what we have is all we have. And we're gonna learn as we get into this thing that it's possible to shorten this time that we have if we're not good stewards with what God has given us. And we sure don't need to do that, because time is getting away from us every single moment. We've been here this day on this devotion for now 7 minutes, and that's 7 minutes that we cannot get back. 7 minutes of our life that we cannot regain. Let me encourage you, friend. Take every moment that you can in this day and in every day and fulfill the purpose that God has for your life, because time is a commodity that we cannot get any more of. Once we use up what we have, that's all there is. We've got to be a good steward of our time. Well, hey, I've got to get out of here. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Wednesday's edition of Take 5. Till then, God bless you. Have a great day. Remember, friend, trust the Lord. He will never fail you.